Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Fiqh of Zakah, the episodes where we're speaking about this very important topic that affects all of our lives, how to understand it, how to implement it. To help me go through this, I have with me Sheikh Muhammad Salah. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for being with us.
Wa jazak, barakallahu feekum.
Sheikh, in previous episodes, we've gone through a lot of information about Zakah. We spoke about its definition and the wealth, the types of wealth. We went through livestock, went through crops, and we went through treasure and minerals. And always, there's one topic that you come up with which we haven't addressed. And I think some of the people say, well, this may be one of the important topics, Sheikh, is who are the people who receive Zakah or the recipients of Zakah?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqin wa la udwana illa ala zalimin. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Praise be to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leads astray, no one can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessing be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith that Allah did not let any person decide and determine the recipients of Zakah other than himself. Did not leave this up to anyone, even a prophet. He revealed a specific verse number 60 of Surah At-Tawbah, which determines the categories of the recipients of Zakah. There is something common in between, which is poverty, because when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, when he instructed him to take Zakah, he said, inform them that Allah has ordained upon them Zakah to be taken from the rich of them to be paid to the poor of them. So there is rich and poor, the opposite of each other. And soon we'll be able to recognize who is rich according to the Sharia and who's considered to be poor and eligible for or entitled for the mandatory sadaqah. The verse first of all says, إنما الصدقات, count with me, إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم. So the alms should be given to the following categories: al-fuqara'i wal-masakin. Al-fuqara is one category, and al-masakin is the second category. But I would give them both the name the poor.
Well, what's the difference between them, both of them, if they're the poor, Sheikh?
Let me count the 8 categories, then inshallah we'll tackle each one in details. So I would say al-fuqara, the poor, al-masakin, the poor. Then the third category is al-amilina alayha, those who are labored by the state, by the governor, in order to collect the zakah from those who owe it and distribute it amongst those who are entitled for it. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ, for those whose hearts are to be reconciled. We'll explain that meaning as well in details. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, and for the freedom of those who are captives. وَالْغَارِمِينَ, and for those who are burdened with debt. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and for the cause of Allah. The wayfarers. فَرِيضَةً مِّنَ اللَّهِ, this is a duty imposed by Allah. Allahu alimun hakim, and Allah is all knower and all wise. Al-fuqara wal-masakin, back to your question and the difference between both of them, because when I translated that, I said the poor and the poor. Al-fuqara are poor people. Wal-masakin are poor people. Some scholars spend tremendous amount of time and effort in order to distinguish between al-masakin or al-fuqara. Some said those who do not have provision enough for 6 months, and those who do not, versus those who do not have provision enough for 1 year, etc. While we already have one hadith that explains the difference. Al-masakin, a subgroup of al-fuqara. The main difference between al-masakin wal-fuqara, the al-masakin are poor, but they are unknown to the community and to the society as poor people. You see people who go to school wearing maybe the same outfit throughout the entire year, but they always look clean. They always look happy. Nobody knows that maybe they don't have food enough for tomorrow or for the day, but they're very modest people. They never beg. They never ask. They do not file for welfare. They do not seek any assistance, even though they are in a difficult and miserable financial conditions. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam alerted us to pay attention to such people whom, as the Quran says, لا يسألون الناس إلحافا. They don't beg. They feel embarrassed to stretch out their hands and say, give me. They would rather die and not ask for help.
SubhanAllah.
Such people, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, as in the sound hadith which is collected by Bukhari or Muslim and narrated by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu arda. ليس المسكين الذي ترده التمرة والتمرتان ولا اللقمة واللقمتان إنما المسكين الذي يتعفف اقرأوا إن شئتم لا يسألون الناس إلحافا. The miskin is a poor person. He's a faqir. But he's not known to the society, and to the rich people who are paying their zakah dues, they don't know that this person is faqir. Maybe he is their colleague at work, and they keep asking, if you know somebody who's eligible and entitled for zakah, and he doesn't open his mouth. He's embarrassed. يتعفف. He feels shy to say, I'm poor. He would consider this like complaining about Allah to his creation. So he is not the one who one tamra or 2 dates would suffice him, and that he's a beggar, that he asks for anything, so would give him a date or 2, or a mouthful or 2. No, no, no. And miskin is one who is extremely poor, but yata'affaf. He feels shy to ask for any help. In another hadith, he said, ليس المسكين الذي يطوف على الناس ترده اللقمة واللقمتان والتمرة والتمرتان. يطوف على الناس, such the beggars. They knock on people's doors, and they ask them, once you roll down your window, they say, I need to eat, or whatever. Some of them are faking. And some of those people, the beggars, when they die, they find they have treasures. They're millionaires. It happened repeatedly, and we read in the news. So they take this as a job. And miskin may be starving, but he would not declare his need or poverty to people. So such people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified them as a second category to alert us to pay close attention to them, to look for them. You may find a doctor, an MD, who is eligible for zakah.
SubhanAllah.
And guess what? There are many and many of them today who are eligible for zakah, because they are not thieves. They do not operate in abortion. They do not do cosmetic surgeries. They do not do things which are haram. They verify the halal to work in it. They help the poor, so they themselves do not possess the nisab. Who is al-faqir? Al-faqir or al-miskin is somebody who does not possess the nisab, and the nisab in any wealth, as we explained in several episodes in the past, excessive to his basic needs. What are the basic needs? A house or a place to live in. Food, clothes, drink, lawful drink, and whatever provision that's needed for a family to survive.
Sheikh, does that mean like modern day survival, or we're talking about survival of the olden days? Because like you said before in the previous episode, in the olden days we spoke about the sa'a, that, you know, survive on a handful of grains for the day.
A handful is the mud.
Mud, sorry, I mean, equivalent. We're talking. But nowadays, you know, it may be a couple of burgers, and it may be like, you know, a couple of packets of crisp and a piece of chicken and a beef. You know.
As a matter of fact, this is a very important point, because In America, for instance, when we come to distribute the zakah, somebody says, I cannot pay my rent. I would be kicked out. So we secure the rent for one entire year for that person. You know how much is that? We're talking about between $12,000 to $20,000 for one person. Such money can enrich in a whole neighborhood in some other countries. If you go to Pakistan after the flood right now and you spend $20,000, that can make a lot. But one person will be the beneficiary. So it varies from a place to another, and from an individual to another, and from time to another time. So it is not the same with every person, in every place, and in every time. What will determine that? The conditions and the need of the needy person.
So this house, this food, these are the basic necessities now? This house, this food, this electricity, the water, this is it?
Correct. And even a servant, if they need a maid or an assistance in the past, that was included as the basic necessities. So that anything that he owns, and it is nisab, attains the nisab or more, beyond these basic needs, this person is rich. But after having a house, and having enough food and drink, and tuitions for the school, and all of that, and even the salary for your maid or whatever, and you do not have enough money that attain the nisab, then this person is considered poor.
Jazakallah Shaykh. We're going to take a short break now and return in a couple of minutes. Please do stay with us on the Fiqh of Zakah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Time, give our wealth, give our love, give ourselves.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome back to the Fiqh of Zakah. Just before the break, Shaykh, we went into the categories of those people who are going to receive zakah. And we started with two, the masakin and the fuqara. So we spoke about the poor people, and within there another subcategory of those.
The fuqara and the masakin.
Yeah, sorry, put them in the wrong way around.
Yeah.
But subcategory, the masakin, of those who are not known. A question comes to mind. When giving zakah, to what level do you give to the poor, Shaykh? Is there a level you go up to?
That's a beautiful question. Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu arda said, إِذَا أَعْطَيْتُمْ فَأَغْنُوا إِذَا أَعْطَيْتُمْ فَأَغْنُوا. You do not give, we're talking about a zakah, not the voluntary charity. When you give the zakah to one person, you do not give him just to eat for now.
No.
The purpose of zakah is to turn the person from poverty into satisfaction. So he is satisfied. His needs, his basic needs are fulfilled even for an entire year. He doesn't worry about the rent for the next 12 months. He doesn't worry about paying for the school for his children, or buying food, or for the entire next year. إِذَا أَعْطَيْتُمْ فَأَغْنُوا أَيْ فِي الصَّدَقَةِ. There is a very interesting hadith that will explain that. And this hadith is a cornerstone in the subject of the zakah recipients who are eligible for the zakah, and up to how much shall we pay them. A person by the name, this is a sound hadith collected by Ahmad wa Muslim, Abu Dawood, and Nasai, and others. Qabisa ibn Mukhariq al-Hilali, a companion who came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, تحملت حمالة. تحملت حمالة means I am burdened with a debt. This debt, it's not his own debt, but he was trying to reconcile, so he guaranteed the debt of others. The hamala was an Arabic tradition that reflected that the Arab were generous, the Arab were having good manners and morals. Basically, if somebody wanted to reconcile between two tribes, or two families, or two individuals who are fighting for so long, so maybe there are some pending payments, debt, or blood money, or ransom, or penalty. So they would judge, this person must pay to that person that much, but he's not willing to pay, nor does he have. So a third person would say, I guarantee that money, or I guarantee that debt. That's called the hamala. So this man, Qabisa ibn Mukhariq, he may be rich. He came to the Prophet ﷺ and he needed help. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أقم يا قبيصة حتى تأتينا الصدقة فنأمر لك بها. hang around until we receive the charity so that we can give you some of it. Then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sees this opportunity to explain to Qabisa and to all of us at large that who is eligible to take from the mandatory sadaqah. He said, Ya Qabisa, you gotta know that إن المسألة لا تحل إلا لأحد ثلاثة. The sadaqah is not justified except for three individuals representing three cases or three conditions. It is not permissible for you to ask, nor to beg, or to seek help, or to take from the sadaqah except if you fit in one of the following three cases. The first one is the case of this companion who is Qabisa. رجل تحمل حمالة فحلت له المسألة حتى يصيبها ثم يمسك. So now we guarantee the debt. We will help you out even if this person, the guarantor, is rich. Whether he's rich or poor.
Yeah.
We got to help him out because he's a good man.
And he's helping others out too.
He's helping the entire society. He's making peace.
Yeah.
So we can help him out from the zakah fund in order to resolve this issue. Until his debt is resolved and his commitment is fulfilled, then afterward, yumsik. Yumsik means anything beyond that is not lawful for you. So now Islam is addressing the people's conscience to be aware of Allah's presence, that you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's something hidden. You can come to Bayt al-Mal, you come to the masjid nowadays and say, I'm stuck and I owe that much money. We're not going to investigate. You can present many blank checks and you say, I will go to prison. We will take your word for granted because this is an amana. Unfortunately, it has become so common, and now we have to further investigate, or otherwise we might end up giving people who do not deserve, as we will see in some of the following hadith. So that is the first case. The second case is a man who is struck by a calamity which destroyed his holdings. Somebody today is a multi-millionaire. Then he invested in the stock market and he's grounded. He lost his entire money, all his shares. We've seen that on the CNN. Somebody who's living in a house, multi-million-dollar, and then he was kicked out. And he ended up working in a grocery store. Why? Because if you don't work, you will be kicked out. You will be homeless. So if this person is in such devastating calamity, financial crisis, if he's a Muslim, he's eligible to receive from the zakah fund what will make him suffice his entire needs for 1 year. The third person is a person who is reduced to poverty.
Okay.
And 3 men of caliber from his people testify that this person is poor and is eligible, because it is impossible for the person who's in charge for distributing the zakah to know the conditions of everyone.
Yeah.
So if it is testified for him that he is poor by 3 wise caliber men, then he is eligible also for the sadaqah, and we will give him what will satisfy his basic needs as well.
So what about somebody, Sheikh, who says he's poor, is reduced to poverty, for example, but he's able, he's fit, he's able to work but doesn't? Does this person come into these categories or not?
Once 2 men came to the Prophet ﷺ during Hajjatul Wada', while he was dividing and distributing the charity. And they asked him for the charity, for help. So Nabi ﷺ looked at both of them, and he noticed that they were very strong, physically fit, tall, muscular. So he asked them, but in a very beautiful and modest way. He said, إن شئتما أعطيتكما ولا حظ فيها لغني ولا لقوي مكتسب. Look, this hadith is very, very important. إن شئتما أعطيتكما. They came claiming that they're eligible. He does not have any means to verify whether they're eligible or not. So since you claim so, I will give you. But you gotta know that لا حظ فيها لغني ولا لمكتسب. It is not permissible for a rich person to take out of this sadaqah, nor for a person who is physically fit and he can earn. So that helps us to understand, if we give somebody who claims that he is in need, we fulfill our job. We're not blameworthy if that person was not eligible. He is, but I'm not. The second, that not every person who's poor is eligible for the sadaqah. Maybe he's a person who's lazy.
Yeah.
When you look at this system, the welfare system in the West, you will be surprised. There are a lot of families, whole neighborhood, who do not want to work. Why? They say, why will I work? Why will I even get a high school diploma or go to college? Why do I have to bother? So they live their life on the welfare. Why? Because they say, if I work and I make $10 an hour, and by the end they take that much taxes from me. As a matter of fact, living on welfare is better. So that's why I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about paying bills or utilities or rent. I'm better off. Islam does not assist the lazy to live such a lazy life. So if he is physically fit and he can get a job, find work and can make his earning, he should work. It encourages him to even be rich. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, entered the masjid once and he found somebody was sitting in every prayer and in between. So he inquired out of curiosity about what kind of job does he do, because he's always there. He said, well, I don't work. He said, so how do you live? How do you survive? He said, my brother supports me financially. He carried this rubber stick, which is called the dirra. He beat him with it and said, get out. Your brother is better before Allah than you. Islam is not a religion that calls people to stay in the masjid and not work. Work and do your ibadah. And work itself is an act of worship if you intend so. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما أكل أحد طعاما قط خيرا من أن يأكل من عمل يده وإن نبي الله داود كان يأكل من عمل يده وما من نبي إلا وراء الغنم. There is no better food than the food which you buy out of your lawful earning, that you earn it on your own. You work hard for it. And by the way, Prophet David, who is a king and a prophet, used to eat from his own earning. And he also mentioned that there was not a single prophet, but he was a shepherd. So if the prophets used to work in order to support themselves and those who are under their guardianship, why are you lazy if you're physically fit? Why didn't you utilize the ni'am that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you? Wait a minute. We have to clarify a very important thing, which is sometimes the unemployment rate is on the rise because there are no jobs. The financial crisis is striking the whole nation. So I would not come to a person who is physically fit and mashallah, he's very powerful, and say you don't deserve zakah because you have to work. Get me a job. Give me a job, I will do it. We're talking about a person who is lazy, a person who does not want to work, but a person who would love to work, but he's laid off. And he cannot find a job that is suitable for a person like him, because he cannot ask from a person who's never worked as a laborer or carrying loads of bricks or stone or sand, and who was taking a good prestigious job to tell him that I gotta work as a janitor. No, Islam does not humiliate people, but it differentiates between a person who's serious and a person who would like to be lazy. So we do not encourage people to be lazy, but if somebody is truly eligible, then we should support him until we satisfy their basic needs.
Jazakallah khair. Again, Sheikh Muhammad, for explaining these and expanding upon these bits of information which is going to help us implement our zakah, how to go about giving it, how to go about taking it and giving it to others. And we're going to look at all of these topics in the other episodes that are going to come on the fiqh of zakah. I hope you join me then. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.